Okay, we're back. Um, Welcome everybody for joining me again. We're going to partake together um, for like the 40th time now in the joy of PDH. Today is Wednesday, August 6th. It's August 6th, and we are going to build a deck with Ellyn Harbreeze Busybody today. I'm thinking about this card a lot. I'm a big fan of this card. I feel like people don't play this card enough. It seems kind of boring, but she really lets you put cool spins on like the background enchantments. Just like I feel like having something kind of innocuous like this that cares about really one thing, making tokens, which every color can do in some capacity, so you get a little variety in terms of like what you're doing. Um, she just lets you draw an extra card every turn if you make a token, which as a base, which is like the floor as a baseline is like pretty good, considering like there aren't a lot of like really good draw engines in PH. This one lets you do it really well and brings along a background as well. And like I said, she adds a lot of really great context to different backgrounds. For example, I have a Ellyn Harbreeze and Cloakwood Hermit deck that I really enjoy. Cloakwood Hermit, whenever a creature's put into the graveyard, if you have your commander out at the end of your turn, you make 2 scrolls. And it doesn't matter how the creature gets there, right? So you can mill cards, you can cycle cards, you can discard them, you can sacrifice them. So there's a lot of ways to get cards in the graveyard and make a bunch of scroll tokens, other ways to capitalize on that. And if you make 2 squirrels, you can tap Ellyn and look at the top 2, pick one. So you just get to draw cards, keep going, and it does a lot of really neat stuff. And so that's why we're going to look at Ellyn today. So that everybody gets a chance to see just how many hats this lady can wear and how many cool things she can do. So I know I kind of like gave a brief overview, paraphrase of what she does, but just to go over the rules text with you explicitly. Ellyn Harbreeze Busybody, 4 mana, 3 and a white, legendary creature, human peasant, and the dog is barking in the background, so you can ignore that. 2/4, good stat line. 4 toughness is like the sweet spot. Survives Bolt, which is actually like a relevant thing in this format. Tap the card. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of tokens you made this turn. You put one under your hand, rest on the bottom. Notably, like you could do this on every turn in a turn cycle if you were able to untap her. In like green Ellyn decks or blue Ellyn decks, that's a much more of a possibility. There are some like spells that untap, but they're not as good, I think, if you're not in blue or green. So we're gonna pick a background. I already picked one in my brain. The only person who knows how my mind works who messaged me specifically to tell me what I was going to pick, Mr. Bobby Fine, thank you very much for your contribution. Today we are going to be playing with Dragon Cultist. Another background that nobody really gives much respect to. You don't see a lot of people talk about this card. Dragon Cultist, 5 mana. That's probably why it costs a fortune. Welcome, Bill. Once again, 5 mana. Legendary enchantment creature. Creatures you control have at the beginning of your end step. If the source you control dealt 5 or more damage, you make a 4/4 dragon. 4/4 dragons are great. They fly. They're evasive. They beat people to death. So do things that deal 5 damage to people. So this could be a creature. This could be a spell. It could be anything that deals damage to another thing. Importantly, not all 5 damage needs to be dealt to the same thing. So cards like was End the Festivities. Any like 1 mana spell that deals 1 damage to every creature on the battlefield. Very easy to trigger this. Any 5 power creature obviously will trigger this. Lots of ways to trigger this. And making 4/4s is great. Making a 4/4 every turn means that we can activate Ellyn every turn for 1 card at least. And we're going to do other things. There's a lot of great red cards that do this. Probably going to do some Flicker stuff because a lot of the good stuff is ETB. We'll get to that in a second. So the first thing I like to do when I'm looking at an Ellyn deck is obviously want to make tokens, right? So what tokens is Boros like good at making? Treasures is one. Notably, we're not playing Guild Artisan because I don't want to do the thing where I have to give her Vigilance and then attack and then make 2 treasures, and I don't care about that. We're making dragons, not treasures. Dragons are way cooler. So we can make treasure tokens in red. White lets us do a lot of clue stuff. Something that's really interesting is there's a couple cards in red that make a lot of like Eldrazi spawn, which are great because they ramp us and they also let us draw, like give us a lot to choose from when we're drawing with our Ellyn at the end of our turn. So we're just gonna go right into it. This is kind of like a pretty mana hungry deck. Obviously, our commanders are 4 and 5 mana, so we're gonna want to do some ramping. We're gonna want to play some land cyclers. Importantly, what's good is that we can do, let's do cycling. That'll bring up all of them. Because there's basic land cycling, there's mountain cycling, plain cycling. This will just lump them all in. We're going to look at some cycling cards. Notably, we want the ones that cost that have five power, really, so that we have the option to cycle them to not to fix your lands, but to secure our land drops, or we can just cast them because all of them are like pretty good and on rate for what they're trying to do. Bedhead Beastie is a good example. 6 mana, 5/6. Menace is like a good stat line. Like the rate on this card's pretty good. You can also mountain cycle it. So notably 5 power. So if we have a Dragon Cultist, this will trigger it if we attack. That card is kind of like really good. We just want to set make it like a good infrastructure here. Just make the deck a little bit more consistent. A lot of the red cyclers are good here. Charge Cougar I like, but it's a base 4, requires an investment of 1 mana every turn, so I'm less cool on that one. Crag Smasher Yeti I like, even though it's a base 4 power, because it backups for 2, so you can just put 2 counters on itself, or you can bump something up to over 5 power if you want, but either way you're getting enough power to do your thing. Crag Smasher Yeti is great, and it gets trample if we care about that. I don't really care about like regular cycling creatures. Something I do in my Selesnya Ellyn deck is, since they care about putting creatures in the graveyard, I play all the white reanimation spells. You know, like the Escape the Cocoon, False Defeat, Resurrection, Breath of Life, Late to Dinner, all those cards, because we're constantly putting cards in the graveyard that we can reanimate. This deck's not really doing that in the same way because our deck doesn't really care about putting things in the graveyard. So we can kind of avoid these, I think. Moving on. Furnace Host Charger, if I have haste, I like haste. I don't think any of the white ones get up to 5 power. All the red ones do. I'll probably play Eagles of the North as a plain cycler because like it costs 1 and it's a good like Alpha Strike card, even though it doesn't trigger our dragons or Dragon Cultist. I'll just put that in here for now. I think that's fair. We're gonna play probably some Artifact Ramp as well. Hill Gigas, Trample and Haste. The card's sick. We'll also play, obviously, like the whatchamacallits, you know, the typed duels, the Mountain Plains cards, so that these Mountain Cyclers can get our Plains, or gets our Plains cards. No, we're not doing Dragon's Approach. That shit is lame. No Dragon's Approaches here. Alright, Oliphant obviously is a pretty dope one. Like, this is a pretty good. 6 of these seems pretty good. I don't think there's many more. Oh, never mind. Size of mine. Yeah, there definitely are. Whoops. And the good thing is that you don't have to bake a ton of like card advantage into the deck because like Ellyn just draws an extra card every turn. Once we get online, granted, like these are expensive cards and it takes a while to get them online, but the payoff I think is pretty significant. Okay, yeah, that's everything that I want. Okay, so we've got 7 good cycling creatures. I don't want this art for Oliphant. We're gonna do the regular baseline one. Okay, so we got 7 guys here that can search up our lands. We're gonna play Dragonstorm Globe. Bill, you gotta calm down. You're getting ahead of yourself, okay? You're getting ahead of myself. This makes 4/4 dragons, by the way, not 5/5 dragons, so you gotta be careful there. Your numbers are wrong. Correction. Anyway, let's look at cards. I mentioned before Eldrazi spawns. Let's look at cards I care about. Have Eldrazi, the word Eldrazi in the text box. Not very many, but there's a couple good ones. Notably, like Emrakul's Hatcher makes 3 tokens. Also, like a good target for the Yeti that gives 2/1 soul counters, bumps us up to 5, triggers our guy. This card's pretty good. I like this one. Yeah, I don't know if I've done a Boros deck. Have I? No, I did Brutal Battlehammer, but nothing like this. Emrakul's Hatcher. Glimpsing Impossible is another good one from Outer Horizons 3. So this is interesting because it costs 3. It impulse draws 3 cards that you have to use that turn. But if you don't use them, you get to dump them in your yard, and you make a number of Eldrazi spawn equal to the number of cards you put in your yard. So, you know, 3 mana, make 3 things. Let the top 3 draw, pick one. That's pretty good. Or you can just play those cards, you know, whatever. So we're gonna play this. We're gonna have a fair amount of mana sources in this deck, so I think that card is fine. This card's pretty divisive just because like the ability to play it and then like utilize the spells that you flip or cards that you flip is pretty limited sometimes. Um, and then Rapacious One. This is like the big one for me because not only is this like a big thing that attacks 5/4 trample, but also makes tons of tokens. So if this hits a player, you make a token for each damage that player takes from this card, and it is trample. So you're oftentimes making a lot of tokens. Rapacious One is the best. All right, so we got the Rapacious One. There we go. All right, and we're going back. Got that out of the way. Let's look at cards I care about, or make treasures I care about treasures. There's a few of these. Big Score and the other one, Windfall, Unexpected Windfall. They're pretty great here. Just like additional ways to get a few more cards in hand, because this just goes like, you know, 1 card a turn. You draw 2 cards a turn with this card. This can kind of like just fuel you up a little bit. And lets you look at more cards off Ellyn, and gives you treasures to bank for other turns, because like look how expensive these cards are. I'm not super high on like these cards that 4 mana 3/3 that like makes a treasure. I really just want I want to be impressed with the cards. And these cards are not impressive. Like Exhibition Magician, you know, makes enter ETB make a token. ETB make a token stuff. I'm less high on. I do like, let's see, Hoarding Ogre is good because that makes tokens every turn. This thing's a beater. This card is like sneaky very good. It has a place in a lot of red decks that you might not think it does because it's a hill giant that just makes treasures every turn. At least one. Like, if you look at it as a card that just says like, you know, 4 mana 3/3, when this creature attacks, make a treasure token, that's good enough. Like, just ignore the fact that you can make 2 or 3 treasures, 3 treasures sometimes, you know. Card's pretty good. We could do a gate package, take advantage of Heap Gate, make treasures that way. I like that. Magic Pot dies, make a treasure. Threaten, make a treasure. Play Duodrone. If you've watched my stream at all, you know that I don't care, and in fact, welcome giving my opponents resources because it makes the games better. I firmly believe that. Proud's Pillage, another one of these cards. Yeah, I forgot about that one because it's not an instant, so I think about it less. But we're gonna play it. Enters, make a treasure. Enter, make a treasure. Threaten. A prize statue is. It's good. I mean, we're not going to be doing a lot of like, you know, like sacrificing artifacts and stuff. I don't think like spells that sacrifice artifacts. We could play something like Improvised Club or the other one. You know, the other one, Heartfire's the other one. Rapacious Dragon, we're definitely going to play though. Just like Rapacious 1, this card is sick. 5 mana, 3/3 flyer, ETB, make 2 treasures. This is like a good one. This is an ETB, make a treasure thing that I actually like. I like Rapacious Dragon. This one, you draw a card. When you sacrifice it, don't care about that. I don't care about these ETB things. It's not. We're gonna play probably Prime Blade. Things that like give us repeated ways to generate these things. Prime Blade, Goldvein Pick, and what was the one I just looked at? I just saw it. Beamtom Beatstick and Sticky Fingers. Treasures are really good in a deck like this. Oh, this makes 2. Swarming Amoria makes a treasure. See, this card's interesting. This is like ETB, make a treasure, like that template, but in a way that is actually like pretty good for what we're trying to do. So this would let us look at 2 additional cards with Ellyn. I kind of like that. I'm not crazy for liking it, am I? I'm not crazy for liking it. We're gonna play this. Swarming of Moria. So this makes 2 tokens for 3 mana, and one of them's a treasure, one of them's a 2/2 orc army. It's fine. I like it. Young Red Dragon. No. Grabby Giant is another one that like has an adventure where you can make a treasure token, but I don't know. I don't really care that much about those cards. Tavern Scout. We have like Tavern Scout and Vault Robber. These things exile. What's this? Maybe flip a coin, make treasures. Sack a permanent, flip a coin. I don't want to do coin flip stuff. That's annoying. I don't really care about that. Vault Robber, exile creature card from the graveyard, make a treasure. No, I don't like that either. I mean, it's probably fine. I just don't like. I don't like having to balance the needs of these cards. You know, I think there's a lot of value in when you're building decks, like not playing a bunch of cards that like compete for the same or compete for like your mental energy. Like for example, like I don't want to have to worry about this card to enable this card. I have to like play my other things differently, and that you know trickles down through ripples through my decision making, and I don't want to have to do that. I'd rather just not. I play Magic to have a good time. I don't want to. I don't have to do that. Building decks is enough of a puzzle for me. Nope. This one. Each opponent dealt damage. You make a treasure. No. Okay, so this is okay to start. We got 23 good cards here. Let's put some mountains in there. Plains, mountain, plains. We'll probably play like some stuff that makes clues, helps us draw cards, and maybe maps. Let's see, how many lands? This is like a 37 lander, pretty easy, and we're going to play some ramp stuff too. So we'll do 17 and 16, is that right? 17 and 18, yeah. I always brain fart when it comes to doing like land math because it already counts the 2 that I put in there, and I'm just not smart. So, talk about ripple effects. Am I right? Okay, let's look at investigate. There is a mana rock that investigates before everyone tells me about magnifying glass. I spelled it wrong, didn't I? Investigate. So yeah, magnifying glass is going to go in. We'll add that when we go through the ramp stuff. Not a lot of great ones. This one's probably the best. Yeah, street urchin. No street urchin. We're going to make dragon tokens because this lets us do Ellyn stuff every turn. Not only is Dragon Cultist really easy to trigger, but it gives us a token every turn that we can always tap Ellyn to draw a card off of. That's why I like it a lot better. Street Urchin is better, I think, in other decks. Okay, let's play Novice Inspector, Favorite Inspector. I think that's fine. Because they ETB, make a token, whatever. I'm less high on those, obviously. I already talked about that, but these let you draw a card, which I think is good enough for me. Clues are good. I like clues. What can we do that gives us maps? Just this one. I don't care as much about that. Don't care as much about that. So we've got food cards. Food tokens. Never under... Oh, I'm just a fucking idiot. Food. Food are great. Food tokens, people underestimate how good they are. They will keep you alive constantly, all day long. It's just, you think you have somebody beat, and then they just start stacking food tokens constantly. It never ends. So what do we have that does that kind of thing that I like? This one makes a food. This one's not great. Well, probably, I think late to dinner is good, honestly. Like, I'm not going to do like all the other reanimator stuff, but I think late to dinner is fine. Because it makes us a token, it gives us like one of these giant things if we land cycle, or like if these things die, Rapacious Dragon, whatever. Like, I think having like one of these in our back pocket's pretty okay, right? The rest of these are just not very impactful, right? This thing just cares about amount of food you have, so not as interested in that. Because we're doing our untapping, or rather our tapping to draw cards at the end of the turn, things like Beacon Hawk are not good here. Beacon Hawk, for those of you who aren't aware, is a 2-mana 1/1 flyer. It pumps defensively, so it's white and colorless. You have a +0/+1 to turn, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you untap a creature. Those cards are generally like pretty good in Ellyn decks, specifically in Ellyn Feywild Visitor, because it's a damage trigger. So you can stack your triggers, make your fairy dragons, and before the rest of your combat damage triggers resolve, you can tap Ellyn, untap it with the Beacon Hawk or Zephyr Wind or whatever, and just like get multiple activations. This does not work that way because we're doing on the end step. Let's look at some cards that will untap Ellyn. I know I know there's some spells that will do it. Untap. creature. There's some spells that will. I'm not interested in those as much. Basically, it just turns like burst of energy into a cantrip, which is like not impressive. But let's see, things that untap stuff like threaten effects will do that, but again, not impressive. I'm just gonna get this out of the way now. Battle Screech and Triplicate Spirits. Just 2 great cards. If you're making a deck that cares about tokens at all, these are like some of the best ones to do. Triplicate Spirits, 6 mana, Convoke, make 3 spirits. They all fly. Battle Screech, 4 mana, make 2 birds, flashback, make 2 more birds. They're in tap white creatures, but who cares? That's easy. These cards are great, and we're going to play them before I forget. And now let's look at things that untap stuff. These are mostly cards that just untap themselves. Yeah, cards like Call to Glory, for example. Like, this untaps all of our creatures, and it'll basically just like, if we make a token, if we make 1 token, it's just a cantrip. If we make 3 tokens, it's an Anticipate. If we make 4 tokens, it's an Impulse. So I don't think that's good enough because of the amount of setup that it requires. There's another one, Dauntless Haven. Whenever you attack, you untap a creature. This card I generally really like, but I don't think it's that great here. Just looking for effects that I can untap Ellyn like during my end step and get another activation. Ideally, repeatedly. I'm, not super high on the instants and spells that do it. Recuperator. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, these are not impressive. Does ETB untap a creature? Don't care about that. Don't care about Sunshot Militia. The card's lame. Pingers are lame. You heard it here first, unless you're doing something really cool with your pingers. But that almost never happens. Vigilance, Veterans Voice, Reflexes. Yeah, I mean, none of these are that great. I don't think we really need to focus on this sort of thing anyway, honestly. I think a lot of people just underestimate how good it is to draw 2 cards a turn in this format, let alone draw 2 cards a turn and like have a bunch of like really solid combat threats. And like some utility stuff, but that's different. Okie dokie, let's just go into the deep end now. Just cards that say create. Let's do that. It's gonna be a large number. Okay. Let's start by mana value. Start at the low end. Oh, I guess Ceremonial Life makes tokens too, right? Makes bloods, which are actually pretty good. That's a good include. So ideally we want things that make 2 tokens. Raise the Alarm is kind of like the template, but ideally I want something better than Raise the Alarm. Cloth of Rebirth is pretty good. We are making like a lot of artifact tokens. So it could possibly be good. I'd rather see how much I end up with before I put in this card. Because if this card's bad, it's like real bad. You could do Recruit the Worthy, just a buyback. We are doing a lot of big mana stuff. It's a possibility. A lot of like the lower mana value stuff is not as good because we're, most likely going to be casting. We're going to be casting this stuff like earlier in the game before we can probably deploy our commander. Carrot Cake is actually pretty good. This is a food token. Is a food as well. It makes 2 tokens, one on the way in, one on the way out. And you scry. Yeah, let's put a Carrot Cake in here. This card does a lot of stuff. Ancestral Blade. Clockworker's Puzzle Knot makes a token when enter, sacrifice, make another token. That might not be so bad either. You know what I'm going to do actually before I forget is we're just going to do the Mana Rocks now. Just going to do it now. This we will sort by mana value because we want the lower Mana Rocks first. It's going to, yeah, the text add is on all the lands. So we're going to go through all those first. Then we'll go to the artifacts, the Mana Rocks. Alrighty, let's see what we got here. I'm an idiot. You know why? Artifact. Fixed my problem. Fixed my problem. There we go. Now we can sort. Now we can do this the right way. Okay, here we go. Arcane Signet. Boros Signet. Depending on how many we want, we might even play like Fire Diamond and Marble Diamond. I'm gonna play Mindstone for sure. Let's see. Mindstone. Probably like Ornithopter Paradise. It's like one of the best mana dorks in the format. So a 2-mana dork, it taps for any color. Hard to beat that. Star Compass is good. We've got a lot of basic lands in this deck probably, so Star Compass. It's like a diamond that can tap for multiple colors. I don't hate the diamonds. I actually kind of like them. Thought Vessel. We're going to be drawing a bunch of cards. Thought Vessel is not a bad one to have. Okay, that's pretty much all there is for the 2-mana guys. That's fine. The 3-mana ones are some sickos like Bonder's Ornament and Lantern of Revealing and Magnifying Glass and any number of things. Dragonstorm Globe. Just make a bunch of 5/5s. Because this doesn't care about if the things are tokens or not. So if we have Dragonstorm Globe, all our dragons enter as 5/5s, and then they trigger our background for us for free. How many are we at? We got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can go up to like 9 or 10, right? Network Terminal's a good one. Oh, Unstable Obelisk I think is going to be good as well. Oh, White Aura Sight, that's what we want. Yeah, this card's sick. This card is amazing. I always look for excuses to play this card. The unfortunate thing is that it costs 4 mana, and the decks that I like to build and the decks that I like to play personally, the average curve is like way under 4. So I don't have a lot of opportunities to run this thing out as much as I love it. So this is a good vessel for it, I think. And we'll play Unstable Obelisk. Play a little removal in the Mana Rock slot. That seems fine. And with like the treasure stuff that we have and the land cycling, this should be enough, I think, to get us going. And now we can look at the stuff that creates tokens. There's like there's a lot of equipment that create tokens, right? So we can probably do a lot of that stuff. That's pretty cool. Okay. Anyway, we'll get to that. That'll show up in our search for spells that create tokens. Right. So where were we? We were like we're at Carrot Cake because I like that card. Sends and Listenment's cool, but I don't like Retrace as much in my casual decks because what ends up happening is that a lot of the time, just like retracing your thing is the best thing to be doing, especially with something like this, like making a couple of tokens every turn for 4 mana is not like the worst deal, but like with the amount of synergy that our deck has with just like making random tokens, this card can be very repetitive, especially because you have a high lane count and all that stuff. I don't like this card that much. It's good. I'll see that readily, but it's not a card that I want in the deck. If that makes sense. I think there's a lot of reasons to not include a card, and I think those are reasons. Those are my reasons. So, Charge of the Mites I like because it's a removal spell that also is modal and can make tokens. Can make 2 Phyrexian Mites or deal damage to a creature equal to the number of creatures you control, and we're gonna have tokens and stuff. So, stands to reason that we'll have enough creatures to make it threatening. Clowning around, create 2 clown robot artifact creature tokens, roll 6-sided die. Possibly make more. Okay, don't. Like I said, Raise the Alarm is not something that I'm like clamoring to put in this deck, and this is like a worse Raise the Alarm. But on the plus side, if I do need to include these, it's like an anticipate, right? Like or rather, like a sleight of hand, which is not impressive, but fine. Crib swap. Yeah, yeah, Mr. Poppers. Whether you're Bernie or Miles, I don't know, but you know, anytime, you know. What? Let's see what I've got going on. So I've got like, I want to see how much room I might have for Flicker stuff. Eagles is great with Flicker. So is Emrakul's Hatcher. Um, Inspectors are good. Dragon is great. Not like the worst. I probably need a lot more stuff to make Flickering good. Um, because what was that card over here? Oh, because there's like a warp card from Edge of Eternity. It's like a white card that makes a soldier token that you can warp in for 2 mana. Like flickering warp creatures is something that I'm very much into because I love doing that with evoke creatures, and warp is like evoke, but a little bit better in my opinion. So let's see, copy a token. You know, that's all I gotta say about that. Dwarven reinforcements. Empty the war. Oh, empty the warrens is pretty cool. Do some storming. Let's get that one in here. Even if we just do it like storm with 1 and cast like 2 versions, 2 copies of the spell, make 4 tokens. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Populate. This deck isn't, well, actually, populate's good because we can make dragons. Right? That's pretty good. Let's play Eyes in the Sky. This also makes like a bird as well, so even if we don't make a dragon, what is goddamn thing? Eyes in the Skies. Goodness me. Even if we don't make a dragon, we can make 2 birds, which you know, again, these are better than soldiers, so it's better. I think it's better than Raise the Alarm. But you know, if the floor is like a card that I'm not that impressed with, and the ceiling is like a card that I'm like, hell yeah, then I'm gonna play. I think that's a good idea. We're gonna do that. Forgot Celebrant, ZTB, make 2 bloods, 4/4 menace. That's pretty good, right? I really like the utility tokens. Creature tokens I'm less cool on. Something about me, I really like playing with like physical cards, not tokens. Right? I like having a handful of cards, like manipulating my sleeved up cards on the battlefield. Magic is a very tactile game for me, so I really like playing with like actual creatures and not token creatures. So I prefer the artifact tokens. There is some like creature token stuff in this sort of a shell that is quite good that I can't really overlook without like being like way more pedantic than I'm being now. So let's play Celebrants. I love me a blood token. Notably, this helps put stuff in the graveyard for our late to dinner, making late to dinner a little bit better. Generous gift, we can kill our own thing. How cool does that sound? We'll probably play this anyway, just it's a good removal spell. I really like removal spells that give our opponent a thing. I do this a lot in regular Commander too. Playing, you know, Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile, you know, Unwanted Remake. These things that are removal spells, interaction, but they give our opponent something, so they're not, you know, just like, you know, left empty-handed. Giving people resources is not bad. I think people need to just chill on that stuff, you know. That's why Martian Duodrone is great. That's why Howling Golem is great. Howling Golem is not for this deck, but it's good in a lot of other decks, that's for sure. This one's a Trumpet Blast that we can make 2 tokens with. Those make 3. That's pretty cool. 4 mana, make 3 tokens, or we can entwine it. It's like the one from Final Fantasy where you can make 3 tokens, or you can tap 3 things and stun one of them. I like this one better because I like the idea of paying 7 mana and making 3 2/2s and giving everything haste. Come back to this one. I'm kind of interested. We're not doing Heir Apparent. Hell no. Too lame, this card. Lame. Headsplitter makes a token. Only if you can run an enchantment. Not impressive. Wait, what was the room? When you lock the room, you make a token. When you lock the room, put one counter. Yeah, no thanks. Wordling Outburst is good. 3 tokens is good. I like 3 tokens. We'll play Acacian Crier. This one makes 2 tokens as an activated ability. It's a spell shaper. If you're not familiar with this card, 3 mana, 1/1, 2 mana tap, discard a card, make 2 citizens. It's a callback to Acacian Town from Fallen Empires in 6th edition. Reprinted for some reason. A 6 mana sorcery that makes 4 1/1 citizen tokens. Luckily, we are not faced with the decision of playing with that card because it is a rare for some reason. Okay, moving on. This one, I like this one because it makes allies, but we're not doing ally stuff, so. Ooh, you know what? This one's cool. It makes a lander token. Yeah, let's play that. A cool ramp spell. I like the sound of that. Yeah, Night Luminary. This is what I was talking about. This template, like 4 mana for a 3 power X toughness creature that makes a token. That's pretty standard. This one you can warp in, though, which I like. You can just pay 2 mana, get a token, then 4 mana, cast the thing, make another token, you have a 3/2. I don't think it's good here, but just a cool card. I like Warp a lot. Warp's a really neat ability. Last rate flashes 4 damage to a creature, create a number of blood tokens equal to excess damage. So if we use this to kill a 1 toughness creature, we make 3 blood tokens. Or like kill like a 2 toughness utility creature, make 2 blood tokens. Don't tempt me now. Don't you tempt me. I'm putting it in. I'm putting it in. I can't be deterred. What are we at? 87, so we're almost there. We're just going to put in like a good piece of interaction. Thraben Charm belongs everywhere. This card is sick. I love it to death. People are probably sick of seeing this card because it's everywhere and it's really, really good. It's like the most stapley white staple I've ever seen in my life, but I love it. I love this combination of effects, and you know, it's cool, so we're going to play. Anyway, okay, we've got our Marching to a Drone. Marut is interesting because if we say we cast our Marut, right, and we use 4 treasures to do it, then we make 4 treasures when this enters. And so we get to look at 4 cards. That's pretty cool. I'm not sure how reliably we'll have like a lot of treasures to put towards it. Maybe after like we Goldfish a hand or 2, we'll throw that in. What time is it? 7:37? Okay, we've got how many cards to go? 12? I'm talking a lot, that's why this is taking so long. No. Moment of the Sun's pretty cool, but I don't think so. Yeah, there's so many cards that just like enter, bring a friend, you know. Maybe we have to just like put in a few of those. Maybe we'll have to play. Oh, this makes. You know, Rally of the Harbreeze is interesting because Ellyn's a human. If we want to give her haste, we can make 2 tokens while we do it. Let's play Rally at the Hornbrook. I like the niche applications of this card. It's otherwise a worse Raise the Alarm, but I'll make an exception because it's pretty cool. And that's the only reason why. You might have to recruit the worthy. I think this is fine. Something to do with all of our mana seems good, and we can just like kind of fuel Ellyn in perpetuity. Just like get an extra card or 2 to look at, you know. Rattling Dawnbreaker. I like this card a lot, but I don't think I'm going to play it here. Oh, Rousing of Souls. This is a great one. I don't know if you've ever played this card or not. It's 3 mana sorcery. You parley, so everyone reveals top card of library. For each non-land card revealed, you make a 1/1 white spirit, and then everyone draws a card. So this kind of does it all. Everyone gets a free card. You make some spirits. Everybody wins. I like that card a lot. I'd like to see more people play this card because it's really fun. Parlaying is just really fun, I think. It's just a really cool mechanic. Luckily, you know, it's not on a ton of things because it is kind of cumbersome, like, you know, time-wise and playing over webcam and stuff, but like figuring out who has what and figuring out how many things you get. There is a time consideration for these cards. You know, it's not insignificant, but they're fun. Limited to white and green, mostly. Some blue cards, I think. I don't know. It's a long time ago when those cards came out. We play Seize the Spoils. Like a worse, no, it's not Says He the Spoils, but Seize the Spoils. Like a little bit of a worse, whatchamacallit, big score. It's a sorcery, you know, when you cast it, or discard a card, and then you draw 2, make a treasure. So it seems okay to me. This one makes a 3/3 token. How do I feel about that? 1/1 tokens are kind of not impressive. 3/3 tokens are good, though. I'm going to play Shiny Impetus, though. I like that one. I'm not above putting this on my own creature, honestly. Just gives you something +2/+2, goads it, and whenever that thing attacks, you make a treasure. Easy. Not sure why I missed that one before. Oh, my favorite card is Soul of Migration. I'll probably have to play like 1 Ephemerate in this deck, because getting like the 1-outer to Ephemerate your Soul of Migration that you evoke is a feeling unlike any other. Where is it? 7 mana, 2/4 flyer, ETB, make 2 birds, evoke for 4. So 4 mana, sorcery speed, make 2 birds, and you know, that's it. Goes to the graveyard. We can reanimate it. We can flicker it with the evoke on the stack. So let's put an Ephemerate here. I think we have enough like decent ETB creatures that like an Ephemerate is fine. Maybe a Cloud Shift, but I'm not going to go like super all in on the flicker stuff. Flying tokens are obviously much better than non-flying tokens. I kind of like Spectral Reserves. Maybe we will come back to that one. Combat Trick, make a treasure. No, I don't really care about the combat tricks. Swirling Mora we have. That card's awesome. 2 Soldier of Lifelink. This makes 2 Gnome Artifacts. Yeah, I mean, these aren't that impressive. This is like Vacation Crier, but worse. I don't know if I want that one. It is pretty worse. Oh, you know what we can do is creatures with Mobilize. We're going to go look at those. We're also going to play You're Confronted by Robbers. And something Aerith from Final Fantasy, Aerith Rescue Mission. This is what I was talking about before. Make 3 colorless hero tokens or tap 3 things. I feel like a broken record. Tapping your opponent's creatures is a surefire way to get them. Nobody plans for that, and you can get people. Oh, this is another draw spell that makes a token Witch's Mark. Makes a Wicked roll. Yeah, we'll play Witch's Mark too. Okay. Now, what are we at? 98. Okay, I think there's only like 1 or 2 mobilize features, so it's probably easier to do. Mobilize. Yeah, 2. We're going to play both of these. Just make tokens when they attack. It doesn't matter if the tokens die. Shock Brigade, Drag Lancer. Shock Brigade, I need to learn how to spell. And something Lancer or something. Dragback Lancer. Okay, so we got a cool 100 here. Let's see. We've got like enough removal or enough interaction, right? We got Thraven Charm, Generous Gift, Charge of the Mites, and then don't think we have any here. Don't think we need any here. Auracite, Unstable Obelisk. Yeah, this is fine. I'm comfortable with this. All right, let's take it for a spin. We're just gonna keep the bait. Actually, you know what? I kind of think I should do the lands now, right? Whoops, I keep going back too far. Type land. It's 7:43. We can do this in 2 minutes and get in there. Goldfish a couple hands. So Alpine Meadow and Sacred Peaks. We're going to do gates, so we can do heat gate stuff. Make tokens with that. Basilisk Gate, Boros Guild Gate, Manor Gate, and Cliff Gate. Oh, Citadel Gate, that's what it is. And Cliff Gate. Okay. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gates. That's enough. That's enough. We're going to do Study Hall because the scrying on that thing is great. Yeah, Church of the Mites is sick. Just the option to make 2 tokens is good. I like it. You know. Oh, Command Tower too. Alright, this is pretty fast and loose with the lands, but I don't want to get bogged down. I mean, I could just do even split, mountain plains, and this will work just fine. So I'm not gonna stress too much about this. Lorehold Campus. The Skylands from Strixhaven are great. I really like them. It oftentimes feels like you'll never scry with it, but having the option, I think, is definitely worth it. I don't really care about the cycling lands. It's whatever. I'm gonna see a lot of cards with Ellyn, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's see, we're about a little heavier on red, so you'd cut what, 7 cards? We'll cut 4 plains, 3 mountains. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now we got. Yeah, this is fine. Okay. Let's go on in now. What do we got? So we got. This is pretty good. We got Land Cyclers and a reanimation spell and a Hatcher. So we've got ways to get lands, we got ways to get these creatures on the battlefield, and we've got some stuff to make tokens. Okay, let's do it. Turn 1. Kicking it off. We'll say Mountain, go, EOT. We'll get a Plains. We can get a tap land because we're not doing a whole lot else right now. So we get Alpine Meadow. Next turn, play Alpine Meadow tapped. Leave 1 up to cycle this. EOT will cycle this. Get a Mountain. Trying to think. Yeah, we'll get the other dual land. Because next turn, okay, Witch's Mark's pretty good. They'll enter tapped. We can do, so we can cast Witch's Mark, draw extra cards. I'm not really a big fan of that. I think it's just like not doing anything this turn is fine, and next turn we can cast Ellyn and then really like go wild. All right. Oh, Ephemerate's even better. Okay. So play Command Tower, and then we'll cast Ellyn Harbreeze. Next turn, we'll play this. Got a couple options. So we don't need to play Dragon Cultist yet because we don't have creatures to trigger it, but we can cast a Semicles Hatcher, and we're gonna make 3 of these. Oh, some of these up here. All right. Then end of turn, tap this. We made 3 tokens, so the top 3. Kind of like this one. These go on the bottom. Next turn. Yeah, I mean now we can just like 3/4 late to dinner, get this Oliphant and a food token. We can like Ephemerate or Emerald's Hatcher if we want, like, and step Ephemerate Emerald's Hatcher, or like going into like in our main phase, end of main phase 2, we'll make like 3 more of these. Set this aside for exile. Tap Ellyn, look at the top 4. Take the dragon. And now what we can do is we can just like, you know, sacrifice 3 of these, whatever. 4, 5, cast Cultist. Attack. You know, do our 6 damage or whatever. Actually, we can attack with both of these and give this +2/+0 and trample. So we got 2 ways. Great, and then post-combat, we'll go Rapacious Dragon and make 2 treasures, so we have to sacrifice 1 of these. Treasure, treasure. End step, make a dragon. Then we tap Ellyn and look at the top 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, right? No, just 3, right? 3. 1, 2, 3. Ornithopter Paradise, Shock Brigade, Robbers. Let's get Robbers. And now we've got tons of cards, tons of stuff to do. We can just like sticky fingers up our Oliphant, make treasures every turn, continue to make dragons. We've got treasures spawn and like all of these. We kind of like drew into kind of a nutty amount of cards here that are quite good. Let's restart. All right, so we've got pick, some land cyclers. This ain't bad. This is fine by me. All right, so turn one, we'll do this. We'll play the Citadel Gate, choose red as a second color, so it's a dual land. Next turn, we'll play a land. EOT will cycle this thing. Get a mountain, we'll get another dual. Wherever they are. Come on now. Come on now. I don't have all the time in the world. Sacred Peaks. Don't really care if it's a snow win or not. Doesn't matter in a deck like this. Okay, so we do our land cycling. Turn 3. We've got some tap lands here. Got a basic if we want to cast Dragonstorm Globe. I kind of just like casting or putting the Sacred Peaks out there. Get our Gold Vein pick out. And then next turn we can do our 4th land. We can just get Ellyn on the battlefield. All right, we'll hold Campus. So what we can do 1, 2, 3, cast Dragonstorm Globe, and then we can do 1, 2, cast Rally the Hornbrew, make a couple humans. Got a lot of tokens here, Jesus. End step, tap, look at the top 2. Take the Duodrone, put this on the bottom. So you see kind of like how easy it is to get Ellyn to just like do stuff. And then as soon as we want to, pull the trigger on something like Hillgeigus, or, if we're able to get something up to 5 power, then we just throw this out there and start going to town. So now we've got 6 mana, 7 mana with this. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll just get the Hillgeigus. We'll equip this. This is 6/5. We'll just attack, make a treasure on damage. End step, just tap, draw a card on tap, and we're still going. See? So now we have this Hillgeigus. So now we want to cast our 4, 5, cast our Dragon Cultist. We'll get the Duodrone out there, and we still got 2. We're gonna have 3 mana. So attack with this. Make a treasure. Go to end step, make a dragon. Tap Ellyn with the top 2. Mountain, Craftland Seeker. Yeah, we're taking the creature. And now what we can even do is like play this Land Seeker and move the Golden Pick onto it to make it another 5 power creature. I like that a lot. Okay, cool. I want to add in something. Damage each creature. I want to include a non-zero amount of these spells. I really like them in a deck like this. Something like Blazing Volley deals 1 damage each creature your opponent's control. Something like this. We're not going to do Correct Shaman, Martyr of Ashes. I don't really want those. I don't want to hit my own stuff. But there are some good ones in that context here. Each opponent, each creature they control. So Tectonic Hazard at least is going to do 3 damage, so we only need 2 creatures. So we're going to play Tectonic Hazard. Probably. Just want to make sure there's not something I like better. Well, I like Smash to Dust a lot, actually. All right, we're gonna cut some things, but we're gonna play Smash to Dust. This is a great modal spell from Dominaria United. Yeah, 2 mana, destroy an artifact, destroy a defender, or deal damage to each creature your opponent's control. So this is a great way to trigger a commander and do other things. Cosmetic Wave is the one I was looking for. Next. Not going to do Bloodfire Infusion, Breath Weapon. This is all low-hanging fruit. Like, you could, if you wanted to build a deck like this, you could very easily include these cards. Just play like a very like sweeper-heavy deck. Not something that I'm particularly interested in, but definitely a route you could go. I like doing it. I like doing the damage with creatures, honestly. Gutter Snipe would do it for you too. Every spell you cast with Gutter Snipe will deal 6 damage to your opponents collectively, and then you'll get to make a dragon. a lot of ways you can do this stuff. I like doing it this way. Where is it? Kind of right way. There we go. Deal damage to creature once control, now they can't block. Pretty sick. We'll do that one. Cosmotronic. You know what we'll do is we'll play Cosmotronic Wave and we'll cut. Where is it? Confronted by Robbers. We'll cut that one because we already have this effect with Aerith Rescue Mission, and this one, the tap functionality is better because we get to stun something. Hazardous Blast is a second copy of this effect. We'll just play Panicked Altosaur. It's pretty good too. I'll probably put that in there. Oh, you know what? Coal. This is a coal. I am not a Coal Hauler Swine player. I'm a Coal Hauler Swine enthusiast, but I am not a Coal Hauler Swine player. There are better people than me that will sleeve up this card. This is a niche thing for a niche group of folks. We're gonna play Panic Altosaur though. I think that's okay. So we got some fail safes that can just like trigger our thing, and this thing can carry an equipment and attack if we wanted to. It'll also just like tap deal 6 damage collectively. So we want to cut 5 cards. Okay. Oh, I have to cut 3 more lands. 1, 2, 3, and then we can cut 2 cards. Let me give it a quick look-see. Cut Crier, I don't really want to do that. Or Shock Brigade. I think that's fine. Because we added a couple other ways to make dragons to supplement those cards, so I think that's fine. I want to keep this mobilized creature though, because it is a 3/3 that flies, which is not nothing. Phantom monsters with upside are a class of creature that I'm very much enthusiastic about. You know, Combat Professor is not really one because it's a 2/3, but Aerial Auxiliary for Modern Horizons 3, 3 mana 3/3 or 4 mana 3/3 flyer, white 3 colorless, ETB support 2, so you can put counters on stuff. Okay, let's take a look. We'll probably start wrapping it up here. It's at 7:57. I think we did some good work today. So this is what we're looking at. I'm just going to switch a couple printings to make it more appealing to mine eyes, not necessarily yours. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Yeah, the Smash S is great. This card is pretty cool. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here that I'm like, I'm not so sure about that. Even Lacerate Flesh, I really just want to. I'm very interested in the aspirational nature of Lacerate Flesh. I really just want to, you know, kill a 1 toughness thing and make 3 bloods. I think that's awesome. Battle Street, yeah, we got all the good stuff. Big Score, Windfall. Yeah, see how good like Ephemerate was in that situation? There's like a handful of cards that are like really good with Ephemerate in this deck. And I think it's cool to have just the one, right? Eagles of the North's great. Landseeker's a good target. Any of these are good targets. Falcon Wrath. Yeah, we've got some good stuff here. Hatcher's obviously the best one. You can always just like also Ephemerate to blanket removal spell, so you can always do that too. Easier for protection. A couple things. We're coming up on the end of my time, but I have to switch a couple things, get a couple printings. Where's my... Ooh, Lost Caverns of Ixalan Mindstone is really cool, and I encourage more people to play this one. Go buy it from a Magic the Gathering card store, an LGS, if you will. Where's my regular old Thought Vessel? Normal Thought Vessel, please. Normal. There we go. Globe was cool. I forgot to put counters on things, but it worked. It did the thing, theoretically speaking. And yeah. Okay, 7:59. This deck is going to be on my Mox Field. Right, if you're going to go a more creature-heavy build, then like Witty Roastmaster and all that stuff are much, much better. That is not what I wanted to do, because I do not like creature tokens that much. There's some stuff that I can't ignore, like Battle Screeching Spirits and whatever, but I like where I ended up, honestly. This is a pretty cool deck. Ellyn is really, really great. Dragon Cultist is really great too. More people should play with this card, honestly. Dragon Cultist is sick. It costs 5, so I guess I know how it's unappealing, but it's very, very powerful. And you kind of got to see what we're able to do when we're generating lots of treasures, like Eldrazi spawns, things like that. We really get to just cast a lot of big stuff. So anyway, deck's going to be on Moxfield, link in the description. Link to the bookmark where all of these decks are stored is in the description as well. Yep. And lastly, links to donate to Trevor Project and Trans Lifeline in the description as well. If you have the money or means with which to do so, you should donate to those organizations in the continental United States. Okay, I am going to go now. It's 8 o'clock. My time is up. I'll be back next week. I'm not going to promise anything. Last week I said, oh, I'm going to do Edge of Eternity's cards this week, and I ended up not doing that. Maybe I'll do it next week if there's one that I think is really, really great. I think there is one that's really, really great, so I may do that. But anyway, have a great week. I'll see you later. Go build PDH decks on your own. Now you're empowered. You have the knowledge. That's all I'll say about that. Okay, bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Good night. Good week.